Hey, welcome back to another video. It's in a new location. I wanted to get this video somewhat done now as I'm making it right now. Um, but I'm kind of in one of those like cozy moods where I don't really fancy sitting up where I usually sit up because I'm cozy. I was a bit cold because the Irish weather has gone back to being a bit windy and stuff. So I said, you know what, I'll just do it here in the bed. Looks a bit weird, I think. But anyway, so yeah, I thought this video will just be a little bit more of kind of a cozy situation of just talking about basically looking back on me in school and then going into full time employment. I did have 2 years of PLC courses, two different PLC courses, and that basically is like it's PLC is after the leaving cert, but it's before college, so it's kind of like a little stepping stone in between. You can't like qualify a degree in it, but it's kind of a stepping stone and kind of helps you out if you kind of struggle with college itself. It kind of gives you a little bit of a taster. So I did 2 years in that in two different courses. Yeah, I kind of talk about the whole gist and how looking back now has been kind of like flags of, yeah, I think you're autistic. So starting off in school, I don't remember far back as primary, but I do know my mom said I managed okay. But secondary, I guess, was where I was really struggling. I guess in primary, we're all kind of at the same level in terms of, you know, maturity levels are quite low and all that. But when you're going into secondary, you're kind of hitting that spot of there's different girls from different schools all coming together in this one secondary school. So they all have different maturity levels. And mine was fairly low. So instantly I could tell I needed a group of friends. Otherwise, I basically won't survive school. So I got myself a group and I thought, thinking to myself, oh my God, like, it's not just one friend. I actually have a group. I feel not popular, but I feel like I blend in really well. Um, that was definitely my trauma pointer. Um, had to discuss that in when I was getting diagnosed with autism. That came up in the conversation, and I was a little bit upset talking about it. But yeah, just about how, like every girl, I guess, in those years, they were boy crazy, and I basically couldn't. I didn't feel like I fit in until I had something new that's boy related to talk to my friends about. Whether that was forcing myself to go on Tinder so that I could find a boy and be talking to them, like a dating app, and try to talk to them about it. Um, Basically, I met fellas in the most unsafe way you could possibly imagine. And what they expected of me and me being so gullible and naive and falling for it. I don't like looking back sometimes because I did do a lot of things that I really regret, but it is what it is. Guess you could say it's part of growth, part of life. But school was definitely traumatic for me. I am dyslexic, so the whole academic part of school was tough going. And then having to mix in, like having to junior cert and leaving cert, I had to study way harder than everyone else around me. But when the peers that you hang around with and you call friends when they're not as study orientated as they should. You don't really have that support barrier to keep you going through school if your own friends don't care either. So like, it's a miracle I even got through school and passed and went like I didn't stay back a year or nothing. It is a miracle. I did do transition year, fourth year, TY, whatever you want to call that. Don't know whether, I think only people in Ireland will know what that means. I don't know. But it's just a year in between junior cert and going into the whole leaving cert cycle break. Um, we try new things, do a bit of work experience, all kind of fun things like that. And that actually, I was one of the only, like, I can't say only the only one because I don't know that, but I'd say I'm one of the only few in my year that actually did not like TY. Um, it was more of a year to do things with your friends and try new things, and it kind of made me realize I don't actually have friends. They're not. They're company. They're not friends. I'd rather be alone than being with them because they make me feel lonely. That whole thing, the whole saying of that, you'd rather be alone than feel lonely with people around you. So it was having to then to lose and having to, excuse me, stop my friendship with them going into the whole leaving cert cycle. You know, it had to be done, but also it was hard to try park that while you're still trying to keep up on top of school and knowing that, like, you need to get through the rest of the year, the rest of school, to leave and then forget about it. Then shortly after that, then I had hit. Oh, sorry. During that whole school year too, there was a little bit of SH and a few other things like that. Again, from one of my friends' recommendations. I don't know. I actually don't know. Like, part of me is like, why did you stick with those kind of people? Like, I feel stupid. But another part of me is like, I didn't know any better. I wanted to fit in around me with everyone else around me in school and have a group of friends that made me feel like I was wanted. And I was basically nicknamed a puppy within my group of friends because I just followed everyone around. And it was me clearly trying to mask to my best ability. And I didn't know what other friend groups around me were doing. Kind of had a feeling that what my friend group was doing wasn't exactly normal, but I wanted to mask and fit in and just get on with it. But it eventually became too much. And yeah, there's kind of a breaking point there in TY, which again, that year, I don't like TY itself really because it was just, well, it did make me realize that, like, yo, your friend's not good. So went in, left school. Well, obviously, was finished with school. Like, did my leaving cert and all, and had gone into two PLC courses. There was general nursing and there was veterinary nursing. And I went to a different county. That was my idea. And it was a good idea, to be honest. I met new people. Did I hold those people in my life when I left the college and went back to my own county? No. They were long forgotten about. I still haven't contacted any of them. Went from that into full-time employment. There was hotel jobs, nursing home, which a nursing home job was during COVID. Because I'd done my general nursing course, you know, it's kind of recommended at home to just give a nursing home job a go, since we thought it was more money than the whole COVID pay when it was out during that time. I don't think I got any much bigger of money. Like, I don't think I got, like, it wasn't much better. And it was quite traumatic for me. Nursing home was a lot. Um, excuse me. So yeah, even now, like, a lot of my retail jobs I could see did not suit me at all. Um, I was I always had this personality on me that I know people say when you go into like the likes of retail and all that customer service, you do basically act. You do put a second mask over your face or a mask over your face and act and perform so that you be respectful and professional to customers and everything like that. I think mine though is like times 100 from that again. Mine is just next level. Mine's so automatic. I'm not able to drop it. It just comes to me straight away. And doing full time clearly was not a good idea looking back because try to keep that level up for full time hours all the time. No wonder. Like I kind of put it down to like, oh, I want to focus on me and then I go and make friends. No wonder I couldn't make friends. Even up to now, I still haven't done that because I have my driving test coming up soon and I'm switching jobs and things like that. So like there's a lot going on that I want to focus on. But clearly once I got the balance of my hours, which I'm now doing, and having myself as part time, I'm able to have the energy to go out and mix with people, which is just brilliant. That's what I want to do. But looking back, like that's why I struggled so much. Every for full time, like you're off 2 days. Especially in retail, my 2 days were never together a lot of the time. And especially in the nursing home, you'd go from a day shift straight into a night shift the next day. So the sleeping pattern is messed up. And as a lot of people, well, I don't know if many people know, but if you do know, like, look clearly, like, just Google it. People with autism suffer with sleep issues so much. Their bodies, some reason, just can't get into like the sleep cycle that anyone else would. It just takes that bit longer. So that really messed me up. I was so sleep deprived, along with so much more things. But yeah, so look, I mingled well. I still have staff and customers from different jobs like recognizing me and saying hi, which is lovely. But it was a lot. I was sometimes lying to my mom about my roster because she wants to know obviously what days I'm in. I was like, I obviously rely on lifts into work, and I would lie about a certain shift. I say that I don't have this shift, and like the day of that shift, then I just ring in sick because to mom, like I'm meant to go in it all the time, which is fair enough. But when you're in burnout, you may as well be sick and bedbound. Like it's a weird thing to describe, and it does. And like people might think like that just anyone can get burnt out. Like it's not that big of a deal. I don't know how you explain it. Like it's just next level. Like next level. You're not able to talk most of the time. Not able to like think logically with things. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. You're not able to think about anything. And if you had a customer problem in the job, like how are you going to help them if you're not able to think? Um, I was so reliant on sugar. Still am a little bit on caffeine, like energy drinks like Monster and Red Bull and stuff, but I was so reliant on them. For a little while, I had like kind of on and off was on the vape for nicotine, for nicotine rush. It it was mad. It was mental. Um, and my mom knew like I was struggling, but at the same time, I could see her frustration of like everyone else is doing these kind of hours. Why can't you do them? Like, why is this such a big problem? And then when I got diagnosed and the psychiatrist recommended you should only be doing 20 hours, I was like, what? And like, it's weird, even now in work, like, I feel guilty getting 20 hours. I'm not in college and I don't have a physical, like, injury to myself where that's all I can do. Like, that's why so many people struggle with mental difficulties because it's invisible. so they don't think it counts, and try to explain to someone that, like, but it's the same thing. I'm still struggling with this difficulty. I may as well have a body limb missing, or something serious to me. It's the same thing. It's invisible and you don't know it's there. That doesn't mean it isn't there. It's still there. Excuse me. Oh my god, that was a weird phrase. So I'm only recently now doing 20 hours, and there's that still a little hanging of guilt over me, because people are obviously automatically asking me, like, "Oh, you going to college? Where are you studying?" And I'm like, "That's not why I'm doing 20 hours." But I also can't really tell them. Now, the odd person, like what, one or two people, I will say health reasons. Um, and also the fact that I am looking to do like an online course to do with animal care and stuff. So like I'm not entirely lying if I said that either, but it is very tough and I could see why people struggle with that. Um, and the fact that like I am going to struggle having money for my car, planning for the future, like it's a lot. And animals that I own that aren't the families are my cat and my three guinea pigs, which at the moment, and hopefully forever, I'm very comfortable affording. I used to have ponies, so I'd have the farrier out doing their feet, and I'd rabbits, and I'd way more animals. But I'm comfortable with that a lot. It does me fine. Um, but my goodness, oh, sorry, but yeah, looking back on so many things, only recently now in this job, I'm having loop earplugs, and I'm having tinted glasses to get me through work. And I never thought it was a sensory problem of mine, but my God, does it reduce my migraine so much? It does a whole lot of difference to me, like. But just I had gone through so much, and yeah, sometimes I do compare myself like any human would. Everyone around me, around like my age, are pregnant, have a partner, um, are married, they found a new home, they moved out, they gone over to like America and different countries traveling with their degree. And I have jumped from full time to part time, haven't done much in college, and I'm waiting to redo my driving test. Sometimes I do, I'm like, sometimes I am like, hmm, have I accomplished much at my age? But I'm also like, who cares? I just realized that I survived so much mental health trauma and everything thrown into the mix that no one else had to deal with around me. And now I'm only like basically finding my life back and finding my feet. So what? I'm going to get to the end result eventually. There's no rush. But yeah, even in work now, I do find my eyes are always looking around, try to read the room, even when I'm serving someone. And that probably is the anxiety. Counseling is trying to help me with that. But also with being autistic, like you're trying to prepare yourself for the next curveball life might throw at you, so that you're able to kind of get yourself together and mask really well and whatever. And that's why working employment is very tough for autistic people, because they're like, yeah, we need money, but our mental health is on the line most of the time. But yeah, I might leave the video there. Um, this was meant to be like a comfy, cozy vibe. I don't know if my audio is going to be really bad because of the way I'm lying. My microphone might be not angled at the right place. I don't know. I need to go back later and hear this and see what it's like. And I don't like rewatching myself. secondhand embarrassment. But yeah, I was being a bit lazy and I'm comfy, so I did the video like this, even though it's not exactly the most lighthearted topic to be talking about. But yeah, look, I probably could have went more into in depth, but I never go the quick way of an in depth story. I go the long way, and that's my problem. So many YouTubers can do that really well that I watch. I can't, and I'm jealous. So I try to take out the heavy stuff out of it because I would be all day talking. But yeah, like, subscribe, do what you want. I was gonna say follow my other socials, but I really don't care. More than likely, it's basically what my YouTube channel is called, my full name. So yeah, I'll see you in another video, which will be next weekend. I'm still struggling what ideas I'm gonna come up with, so we'll see what happens next weekend. Bye.